In front of you. I counted everything in front of you. I won. You know what? Stare at the ceiling. Stare at the ceiling. You two look at the ceiling. You're just sore losers.
What happened, wife?
I won.
Hey everyone, today we are going to talk about different ways to fight off the boredom and keep yourself sane while you're going through any kind of social distancing.
Social distancing, you know, quarantine. Basically ways to stay engaged with your family and your friends when you can't be in the same room together.
Exactly. So maybe you've got the kids at home, maybe it's a long extended break, maybe you're under quarantine, maybe you're just out RVing and you miss your friends and family because you're out on the road. These are all going to be different ways that you can stay healthy mentally, stay fit, stay engaged, and keep in touch with all the people that you love. Before we get started, we'd like to ask you to subscribe to the channel. We put out content every week. And if you click the bell icon next to it, you'll get notified whenever we upload videos. And if you end up finding this video helpful, please give us a thumbs up. One of the things that I love to do is cook. And there's lots of recipes out there. We actually have a bunch of fun cookbooks based on TV shows, movies, and things like that that provide not only fun new recipes, but kind of an interesting twist on things.
A piece of Cassandra.
Can I see?
Ooh, does it need to be moisturized?
It does need to be moisturized. See, look at that. We have all of this stuff. Another good thing to do when you're stuck inside and you can't be outside, start your next home improvement project.
There's always something.
I have a very long list of things to get done. We have a very long list of things to get done.
No, it's you. I'm just gonna sit back and watch.
Your home is full of nature too. Well, not hopefully your home, but maybe surrounding your home, like your backyard. We have quite the collection of critters. We have tons of birds that come and see us because, you know, we feed them. We lure them to the deck, and my squirrels too. And I am determined to be the next Snow White. They are going to be eating out of my hand by the end of the year. So get to know your backyard birds.
Make backstories for them. Give them names.
No.
And personalities.
No, but a lot of, I know that our Missouri Department of Conservation has an online wildlife guide. So Malcolm and I will often feed the birds, and then the next day we'll sit there and look up who's coming to have a snack on our deck.
Right. Yesterday we had Bob over. Bob's got a little bit of a social anxiety problem, but he's getting over it.
Another fun thing to do, especially if you have little kids in the house, is to maybe bend the rules a little bit and let them have some crazy wild fun inside. For instance, no throwing is one of our rules, and bed pillows stay on beds, but that didn't happen earlier, and we built the pillows into a fort and we had a big battle, and we got to throw things in the house. So consider bending your rules just a little bit while we're all going stir crazy. Something else you can do is take a trip without actually taking a trip. There are a multitude of museums that have virtual tours, as well as a lot of the state and national parks.
Yeah, it's a great way to get out and see what's out there without having to get out there. Right now, we're encouraged to not get out too much. And be around other people. But in other times, we may just not ever make it, or it may be a while before we make it to certain parts of the world or certain parts of our country. So it's a great way to sit down and get some kind of an experience for what's out there.
That is so cool. Look at that. That's a mouse.
Is that mouse building?
Well, it's a mouse that's painted on a building. That's by Banksy, and that looks like
Put a like on that.
Okay, I'll like that one, sure.
With the technology that's out there now, we all have cell phones, we all have access to video chats, video calling, whether it's Google's Duo, iOS's FaceTime, Facebook's got their thing. I mean, there's just tons of different video chat methods out there now.
So why not gather everyone virtually with your phones, call people up, set them around the table, play some games. You guys can play card games, we can play board games. We played Monopoly with the kids that were off at school.
Yes, I won.
Yeah, well,
I won.
And you could play Pictionary, tell stories, or just sit around and chit chat. You can even do Facebook's got watch parties and things like that you can do with your friends and your family. And you have that sense of being there and experiencing the same thing at the same time without having to be in the same room, the same country even, the same state. So take advantage of things like that. It's great. And when we started doing it, we thought it was a little weird, but it became very natural very quickly and it became a lot of fun. It was a great way for Malcolm to catch up with his siblings.
And honestly, even though they're older, they had a good time too.
Yeah.
All right, Malcolm, it is your turn again.
Ooh. Okay. Shaking them really well.
Whoa, that is 11, son. Where did we leave you?
So one fun way to pass the time, if you're stuck at home, is to learn a new skill. Out on YouTube, there are tons of videos learning new skills, and many of them you can practice inside your own home. Katie and Malcolm are learning to play the guitar.
I have 2 beautiful guitars, and Malcolm just got a ukulele for his birthday, and I have no idea how to play those instruments. So together, we have been watching some YouTube channels and learning. There you go. Very good. When you're spending time with your family, don't forget the furry members of your family. Teach your pet a new trick. Cats can learn to fetch, dogs can learn to roll over. It's fun, and they'll learn a useful skill too. Okay, so you can still social distance and be outside at the same time. Take a walk. Also, if you're a little bit more on the competitive side, you can run or walk a virtual race. There are several different companies now. I use YesFit, and my medal collection is starting to get impressive. So get outside, earn a medal, get some exercise and some fresh air and some sunshine.
Right, to do those virtual races, you do need a fitness tracker though. So some kind of a Fitbit, a watch. I think even an app on your phone would work. But the wrist worn ones or the ankle worn ones are the best.
Yes.
And while you're out and about taking a walk or visiting a park, we visited a drive-through park that we have around here where there's some animals and stuff. It's a lot of fun. There are a lot of AR games on your phone. So stuff like Pokemon Go, there's...
You gotta catch them all.
Yeah, there's Ingress, I think there's a Harry Potter version, there's the
Jurassic World.
Yeah, Jurassic World version. So there's lots of things you can do. Obviously not while you're driving, but passengers in your car, people that you're kind of sequestered with can play. You can pull over. Hopefully our tips and ideas have helped you out, given you some ideas of your own even, sparked your own imaginations on things that you can do with your friends and your family to pass the time as you're stuck homebound for whatever reason. If you have anything great or interesting, go ahead and give us a comment below. Let us know. Share with the community.
Yeah. So thank you for watching, guys. Give us a little thumbs up, hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon because we put out videos every single week. And stay safe out there and wash your hands.
Until next time, guys.
Bye.
Welcome, welcome. We're going to get the chat out of here. And now I'm going to talk to you about how to make money during coronavirus, during the lockdown, during the COVID-19 scare, because a lot of people feel like they're lost. They feel like their life is in tumult. It's tumultuous. They feel like flotsam in the in the tides of life, and you can get around that, okay? You're more than your job. You may have lost hours on your job. They may be saying take your PTO, but you are more than your job. You can provide value in ways other than your job. This is a terrible thing to happen to a lot of people. It's a terrible global pandemic. But what we're not acknowledging is that we are being forced to consider other ways to make money. We're being forced to consider what we can do, what value we can provide. I feel like in the United States, so many people are married to their job. Not only and they work too many hours, but that they think that's who they are. And without that structure of a workplace environment, they feel lost. They feel useless. They feel like they have nothing to add to society. And I think that that's on the tail end of a lot of the health fears or the shortages or whatever we're seeing. That's kind of what's driving it all. And so I just want you to really, if you're watching this, just please acknowledge that you are more than your job, and you as a person, you're in your totality, have so much value to provide. And in a time like this, that value is needed more than ever. And we're going to go over a few different things, and none of these things are going to be reselling health-related products. I want to get that said off of the bat. There's at this point, so many states have declared a state of emergency. The way the federal government's handling it, for both your sanity and avoiding any legal repercussions, and also irritating people. The consumers have spoken. They don't want people to sell these things on Amazon. So listen to that and just let that happen as it is. There are still a lot of products that are not related at all to coronavirus that people want and you can sell. There are still a lot of services you can provide that aren't related to coronavirus that you can make money on, and there are still things you can create. And that really is the big thing we're going to hit on, is that everyone is a captive audience right now. Okay? We're all at home. I mean, I'm at my warehouse, but people are not going around. They're not taking big trips. If you want to pitch an idea to the internet, now is the best time. And so the first thing we're gonna talk about is, let's think outside of the box, right? So the box would be, I go to work, I make this money, I trade my time for money, whatever it is. How can you go outside of that paradigm? Well, we have to ask ourselves, what are jobs doing? For employees, they're giving you money. But for consumers, they are fulfilling a need. They're fulfilling a service. They're satisfying a need. And the amount of needs out there, as opposed to the needs that existed 2 weeks ago or 2 months ago, are drastically different. Drastically different in every way, because of not only people have to stay at home with their kids more, people are scared to go into grocery stores. There is state governments, federal governments saying, hey, excuse me, don't go out. They're saying don't go out and do these things. And so there's this general fear going around. And the best way to remove fear from a society or from people is to calm down the number of people out there. You know, if you have 10 people panicking, that's not so good. But if you have 1,000 people panicking, that's really, really bad. And so these services we will be providing are with the intention of consolidating the amount of people who are being in contact with each other. So the first one, I think off the bat, is going to be the idea of a grocery or just a supply run delivery service. We're going to see neighborhoods where one person goes around to all their neighbors. They, have their can of Lysol and their face mask, and they say, hey, I'm going to Kroger or I'm going to Walmart for $10. Give me your grocery list and give me the cash, and I'll buy these items for you. And so we're going to have this decentralized, personalized shopping network that's just neighborhood by neighborhood. People are going to be acting together as a community, and they're going to be using the money they have to facilitate those transactions. This is going to take the place of, the way I see it is a bunch of old people who have a lot of money from all the years they've worked, who are looking to spend their money on conveniences like that. And this is how, in a free market economy, wealth goes from wealthier older people to people who aren't as wealthy, to someone who's willing to work, to someone who's not as worried about going to a grocery store and buying groceries, for example. You can take that premise of providing a service that minimizes communal contact amongst the people around you, and you can sell that because they don't want to do it. They're willing to pay their money for it. You are willing to do it. Obviously, everyone has to take their own, everyone takes into account how they value their health, the risk to their health they think there is, but that's called freedom. That's called independence. Everyone in the United States should have the ability to decide what happens to their body. That's just, I mean, not everyone believes that. I firmly believe that. So if you're going to say it's okay for this person to have control over their body, why can't you say this person if they're being responsible about it? I mean, obviously, someone who's sick or someone who's being irresponsible, they shouldn't be able to do that. But if you're taking all the necessary steps, I don't understand how having some government official hand out food boxes to you is any more efficient, is any more helpful, is any better than if someone in your community is doing it and being paid for their services. That's just my opinion on it. Obviously, if you disagree with me, let me know in the comments below. This is a discussion. I mean, I'm talking to you, but I want you guys to know these are my opinions. These are the way I see things. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. I could be wrong right now. But I mean, it is what it is. So let's say you don't want to do that, or you're in a very rural area where you can't do that, or you can't, go pick up groceries or go pick up clothing, or who knows, just run errands for people. There's no errands to be run. What do? Well, everyone's at home still, and that is essentially a captive audience. The reason I have about 3 times as many people watching this video right now as I do normally in a live stream is because they're at home. People are desiring content to consume so strongly, so much. People want to watch things. They want to watch things about how to make money, which is what I know about, but they also want to watch things in regard to their interests. My girlfriend, Ashley, you've seen her before, you're going to see her again. This weekend, we're setting up her yoga studio downstairs in our basement so she can film her yoga classes and we can put them on YouTube. Because normally what she was doing with that time is teaching classes. Those classes got canceled. Is she just saying, oh, I have no value, oh, I'm helpless, oh, I can't do anything because my job is gone? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. What she's saying is I have these skills. I know how to teach yoga. I can do a concise class. I can make it entertaining. I can make them listen to it. Let's take that and allow access to everyone on the internet. No longer is she just teaching to these 15 people. She teaches yoga for grad students and people in recovery. So people who are high stress environments who need this help. She's doing that. The barrier to entry to go to a yoga class and to watch one on YouTube, they're miles apart. And so not only is she allowing more people to see her stuff, she's going to get paid better for it, per CPM, I guess. And she's also going to allow access to a lot of people out there who otherwise wouldn't, because 1, they're in a city where everyone's quarantined, 2, the money isn't there, 3, maybe they're depressed and can't get out of their house. There's just so many, in times of a crisis like this, when you look for the positive thing that's happening and the way that you can make your life better through all of this chaos around you, it's going to be such a satisfying event to come to an understanding you're going to have for yourself, because you're helping people who need it and you're making money. Those are 2 of the most satisfying things I can think of. Obviously, helping people doesn't pay the bills, and only making money will leave you empty and depressed. But when you combine them together, when you balance your life in that way, in my opinion, that is the most satisfying way to live. Also, so if you are selling these things, sorry, I got kind of caught up in my own personal speech there for a minute. I do have a script. If you are selling things, my recommendation is no FBA. We don't know what the future holds for these fulfillment centers, but what we do know is fulfillment centers are centralized hubs where tens of thousands of people's things they touched and thousands of people all go and interact. So I would not be surprised if in the future these fulfillment centers are running at either closed down or running at a smaller capacity, less than they normally would, which is gonna hurt your Prime sales. It's gonna make people favor eBay and merchant fulfilled more. And so me, the guy who's been saying for years and years and years, oh, I'm only FBA. I only do FBA. Blah, 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 blah. Now I'm doing merchant fulfilled because that instills more confidence in the customer. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're doing. We're trying to calm people down and give them the stuff they want. I mean, this goes into the whole, this is why, again, I say stay away from pharmaceutical products, from supplements, from anything even remotely corona related. Not because I think it's inherently wrong to sell those products, because I don't. I believe in a free market, I believe in private property, but because just of the consequences it'll occur in ignorant people. People who don't understand what's happening. They might see a high price, they might panic buy. There's just a lot of things that they're just ignorant people, and you have to, unfortunately, if you want to help ignorant people, you have to be prepared to deal with ignorance, and that inevitably is going to cause you personal harm in some way or another. But I think that's the mindset we have to take this when we approach this. We have to say, okay, let's facilitate that doesn't make people angry, but still, doesn't send our economy to a halt. People still want to buy things, and those things are not going to be where they want them. And people don't want to go to stores. It's just, I don't want to repeat myself over and over again. But if you guys watching this are resellers, you know what I'm getting at. Yeah, that was number 7. Stay away from anything corona related. It's not worth it. The media and lawmakers are trying to assign blame. It's just a bad place to be. There's just too many reasons. The way that I'm going about this is if I'm at a store and I'm looking at things, or I'm not even at stores. If I'm trying to do like online arbitrage, I ask myself, is there any reason I shouldn't sell this? Any reason at all I shouldn't sell this? Is it going to make someone mad? Is it going to cause a panic? Is it going to make some lawmaker screenshot my listing and say Blake's a bad person? I don't want to deal with that shit. I don't want to have to defend myself to people, so I'm just staying away from them completely. And I recommend you do too, until, because what's going to happen now is as access to this shit is limited, consumers and lawmakers are going to go, well, wait a minute, maybe resellers aren't that bad at people. Maybe they were fulfilling needs in the community. But until that happens, I'm saying stay away from medicine. There is, what I've noticed, and I track this stuff, this is what I do. Interestingly enough, excuse me, the only medicine I've seen that's on shortages is like children's Tylenol. Not children's generic acetaminophen, not children's ibuprofen, but, well, is that ibuprofen? The brand Tylenol, I think it's acetaminophen. That brand is being sold out. Definitely do not try and sell that. As insane as people got about buying things for their own personal health, they're going to go 10 layers higher when it has to do with their kids. So just don't do it. It's not worth it. I looked right now, and like you're making like $4 or $5 if you sell children's Tylenol per package. But when the consumer sees it, they see the cost of shipping, they see Amazon's fee, and so they're going, oh, this is 4 times as much, as opposed to a $4 profit. So again, for so many reasons, it's just not worth it. So let's say, okay, Blake, I don't want to do any services, and I hate making YouTube videos. I can't do what you do. I'm not a big blabbermouth. eBooks, content, people are at home. Any way you consume content, you should be producing that content, because there is not a better time to see if your passion is viable. There just isn't. You're never going to have a more captive audience unless things get worse, and maybe in 5 years, we're going to have an Ebola epidemic and then we're all going to die. But for the time being, you have a captive audience. You know what I'm saying? I'm being facetious. They're not captive. You have an audience who is inclined to stay home and watch videos and read books and listen to the radio, listen to podcasts. Maybe you love old sneakers. Maybe you love Frank Crumb comics. Maybe you love Wii games. Maybe you love vanity license plates. Now is the time to make your YouTube channel. You're at home. You're taking PTO. Use this time to figure out, what do I love? how can I turn that into viable income? Maybe not a full-time job, but enough money where you're prepared for the next time something like this happens. The takeaways that there are some takeaways. That's my final point in this video. What do we take away from coronavirus, from this event that happened? And I'm not talking about wash your hands more, because we should all wash our hands more. I'm just speaking to myself. I should wash my hands more, and I am. I've been much more aware of my personal hygiene. But from a business standpoint, from a personal finance standpoint, what should we take away from this? And that's one, things are going to move slowly. From the time the first person got sick in California or Washington to what happened in Michigan to what happened in different states, it doesn't happen overnight. Now, when they make changes, like for example, today they canceled school in Michigan until April 6th, that occurred overnight. But the idea that there's going to be a supply chain gap somewhere along the lines, because like let's say the government says all the freight trucks have to give priority to medical shipments. Well, maybe that makes freight cost 3 times as much, and it does. Like if you go on your freight provider right now, just for fun, see how much it costs to ship 2 pallets 600 miles. It's going to cost like $3,000, which is crazy, but that's just how things go. And so we can learn from this, and we can set ourselves up to be in a good position. We're seeing that the stock market is just plummeting, is crashing. Maybe that's a sign to diversify. Maybe you should invest in yourself more in ways you can have recurring income. Some may even call it passive income. I don't call it that because all income takes work, but that's the word they use. I gotta sneeze now. I'm not sick. I have allergies. That's been the worst part. People who have allergies have been on fucking pins and needles over the past 3 weeks. Like, I have allergies. It's in my nose. I don't have a sore throat. I don't have a fever. It's allergies. But I've just been so hyper aware to hold my coughs in, when I'm at the gas station or whatever I am, and to wipe down everything I touch, which, you should do that. But, not to do that. I just touch my face. Before I got on the live stream, I washed my hands, I did all that. I took a shower, did all that shit. So like, I'm clean. But if I wasn't clean, I definitely would have been just like, because I don't want to, not only do I not want to get coronavirus, I don't want to get the flu. I don't want to get sick. I want to be able to, hopefully, throughout this whole scare, hopefully speak a little bit of reason into people's lives, and just like calm down, like see things for what they are. I'm not saying it isn't a situation worth being concerned about, but the behaviors I'm seeing are absolutely unwarranted. It's crazy. When I was picking up food yesterday, I saw this guy just yelling at an old lady for not going across the street fast enough because he had to get into the Kroger to buy 15 things of toilet paper. Just like, that's made in America, I might add. The things that are going to be so easy to replace are the things people are panic buying, which again just shows you like they've got a scarcity mindset. And that's what we are learning. The vast majority of people, especially poor people that I'm seeing buy stuff, at least, I shouldn't say the vast majority. I'm saying there is a portion of that population that is very present who has a mindset of scarcity. They never can have enough, but they're also afraid that there isn't enough to go around. And so they're trying to ration their money to buy as much toilet paper as they can, ignoring that there are more pertinent needs, ignoring that there are more pertinent ways to use your time and money. So that is still absolutely present. And what you should learn from that is what I just said in the earlier part of the video. Don't have that scarcity mindset. When you get laid off from your job, or when you have to take PTO, or when you get sent to half hours, don't freak out. Do the thing you've been doing since the last freak out to make money, and you're going to be okay. You have to understand again that you can provide value in ways beyond your job. Again, this is when I write down these scripts, I use big capital letters. And the first big capital letters that I have were, you are more than your job. You're more than your job. You're more than the benefits your job. You think that a fry cook at McDonald's, you think the person can only cook fries? Hell no. They can do so much more. But like I said, in the United States, for some reason, we're geared to believe that the only way we can provide value is through our job, is through this highly regimented corporatocracy, for lack of a better term. And that's just simply not true. This is your time to find your passion, to figure out how you can make money in a decentralized fashion. Because guess what? Maybe there isn't a coronavirus next year. Maybe you want to go on vacation for 2 months. The restrictions and parameters on the things that you can do are going to be the same. I know that's kind of a weird way to phrase it, but you being laid off and you being on vacation, you still have the same amount of opportunities to make money on the internet. It's just your mindset that's changing you. So again, remember, you're more than your job. Understand what you like. Look at the ways you consume content and then emulate those. You know, the main takeaway that I want you guys all to have from this is, one, like I said, you're more than your job. If you're losing your job, if you're getting your hours cut, listen, it's going to be hard for the time being, but don't take that as a defeat. Use this as an opportunity to figure out how you can make money on the side doing things that other people value. Okay? Like what the things that you love, other people are going to love too. Maybe you love World of Warcraft voiceover videos. I don't know. There are so many things out there that I don't know about that you do know about. Pursue those. Pursue those with the mindset of abundance, not of scarcity. Pursue that with the intentionality, knowing that what you do has value, knowing that you are qualified, knowing that you're confident. Pursue that with the idea of making money when you do it. If you do those three things, you're not going to be as scared next time this happens. And I'm signing off on that, guys. Don't be a shithead, and I mean that more than ever. Give it a thumbs up if you're here. We got over 100 of you. I really appreciate everyone's viewership, and I really appreciate everyone in the Facebook group being positive and everyone being supportive. You know, now as a country, we have to be supportive of each other more than ever. We don't want to, you know, decay into anarchy. We just want to mind our own businesses. All right, guys. Again, don't be a shithead. I'll see you later. And if you have any questions, you can email me at wbkultra@gmail.com or just leave a comment below, and I'll answer those too.
Today, what I find stunning is how very little the social era that has revolutionized our society has impacted our students' college learning environments. In particular, when students are learning in a fully online setting where physical walls, seats, and time constraints are no longer obstacles, this becomes especially problematic. I believe it's time to shift our paradigm in higher education and start to infuse our students' learning with social technologies. Doing so will make online learning human, connected, and real. These are all so many things that people still think online learning can't be. A recent study in California's community colleges by Raymond Kopp analyzed more than 4 million student records to understand the reasons in a staggering online achievement gap between white and Latino students. This chart compares the average grade distribution of white and Latino students in face-to-face and online classes. It illustrates the achievement gap that exists in both settings. But what's more startling is that the achievement gap increases 44% when Latinos make the move to learning online. Kopp's study sought to understand why. Now, when faculty and administrators were asked what they thought the factors were that contributed to the achievement gap for online Latino students, they identified technology, motivation, and language deficiencies. But when students were interviewed, a different story surfaced. No student deficiencies were identified. Rather, the single unifying factor that contributed to students struggling online was the fact that they didn't feel as if they knew their online instructor. Students felt unsuccessful with developing a relationship with their online instructors that enabled them to get the support and motivation they needed to learn and succeed. Relationships are especially critical in Latino culture, and it's one of the reasons Latino students are underrepresented in online classes. There's really no reason for an online class today to be cold and isolating. It's just not acceptable. In a social era like ours, online communications should be warm and filled with the human touch. These are precisely the issues that continue to cause so many faculty administrators to view online learning as inferior to face-to-face. Creating, captioning, and embedding videos in an online class requires an instructor to have a computer with a webcam. That's it. Today, free screencasting tools are available that allow the easy creation of high-def videos. That's right. Record anything on your computer screen, save it to your computer, or upload it to YouTube, where you can caption it, set it to private, unlisted, or public, and embed it directly in your course materials. And you can do all that directly from your browser with no downloads. Interestingly, even with these accessible alternatives that are more likely to suit the working styles of faculty who today are more likely to be part-time and even teaching at multiple institutions, many of our higher ed institutions continue to purchase expensive enterprise-wide solutions for video that come with steep learning curves and fewer faculty are likely to adopt. Social video technologies do more than humanize online classes, however. They also build community. When online students are invited to make discussion contributions through video, the social bonds they form with their peers and instructor are deeply enriched. VoiceThread, the tool illustrated here, provides a social, asynchronous conversation space in which students converse using video around pieces of media which may themselves be videos. When video is embraced as an integral building block in the design of an online course, it can also play a role in transforming a learning environment from meeting the needs of a few learners, which is the way we've typically always done things, to meeting the needs of all learners. Layering video with text lucidly conveys abstract or complex ideas by presenting them visually. It also supports the needs of students with cognitive learning disabilities like dyslexia, and this is the largest demographic of disabled students in higher education, which is particularly significant for those of us who teach at 2- or 4-year public institutions.
But we can't end this story here. We can't just point out what's great about video and leave things hanging. Innovation in teaching and learning needs to pick up the pace. And I believe that you are at the center of change today in education. In a social era, it's passionate, committed educators who care about the learning needs of their students who are going to drive change. I believe that more of us need to step up and participate and start sharing what it is that we're doing in our classes. And we need to use the tools that we're already using in our classes to help share what it is that we're doing. I believe that change will only begin and pick up and accelerate when we all start to participate and see ourselves as change agents. So let's do this. Let's make online learning real. Let's do it together.
If you talk to someone that has recently moved, started a new job, or retired, and ask them what they miss most about their past situation, one of the most common answers is that they miss the people that were in their life. What that actually means is that they miss the social connections or relationships that they had with those people. Social connections or social interactions with other individuals is crucial to mental health, which in turn is crucial to overall health. The lack of social connections has shown to increase stress hormones, weaken the immune system, and lessen cardiovascular functions. People who are lonely tend to consume more alcohol, exercise less, have less quality sleep, and fatigue easily. Social relationships allow you to share your achievements and have support when times are tough. Imagine achieving a long-term goal you had. What's the first thing you want to do? Tell someone, of course. Or imagine if something terrible happens. Not having someone to lean on and talk to can make that event linger and make you feel even more isolated. Giving support in relationships can actually be more beneficial than receiving support. When someone shares something positive in their life with you, it's a compliment. They wanted you to be a part of their success, and they know that you have a sincere interest in their life. And when someone shares a tragedy in their life, you know they really trust you, and they're looking to you to help them through this difficult time. Now, some social relationships can be bad. A person that is constantly negative and has a poor outlook can bring you down and cause stress, making that relationship toxic. Someone that always talks about themselves and makes all of your interactions about them, well, that's not really a social connection. In that case, you're just an audience member in their one-person show on how wonderful their life is. Poor marital or poor relationship quality can also weaken the immune system and erode physical health. Dealing with stress from a poor relationship can lead to over-consuming food or alcohol, smoking, or taking medications to deal with the stress, which in turn can damage systems in the body. Connections through social media can be beneficial by allowing you to stay in touch with friends and family. However, social media connections are not a good alternative for face-to-face in-person contact, and too much time spent on social media can lead to more isolation and a greater feeling of loneliness. It's a good practice to use social media in moderation. To be healthy, we need people in our lives. It doesn't need to be 5,000 Facebook friends, and we don't have to have everyone like us. Having strong social relationships with just a few people is fine. A few people that we can share life's good and bad moments with, a few people that we can connect with on a regular basis with no stress and no judgments. A few people who accept us for who we are. Surround yourself with good people, folks. Good people.
Networking, connecting to people around the world. How do you do that? That's what this video is all about. My name is Rachel Smets, and I live a freedom lifestyle, and I travel the world, and I come to beautiful places just like this, and I inspire and support people to do the same thing and to create a lifestyle abroad. So make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and keep following me, because networking brought me here. I'm a speaker at a big conference, Women Economic Forum, and that's how I got here, through networking. I am invited through networking. I have friends around the world. Through networking, I connect to people, and I have a place to stay and visit and a bed to sleep when I want. Through networking, I create friendships, I create contacts and business contacts. So you may think, yeah, Rachel, but I don't want to network, and I don't want to go to all these events, and I don't want to go to conferences all around the world. That's okay. You don't have to. How about networking online? Yeah, at your fingertips. The whole wild world is at your fingertips. You can network online, you can find groups and people online. Matter of fact, at this conference today where I'm speaking, I'm meeting people face to face for the first time because we've been chatting and networking for a while online. So networking, online or offline, do it. And if you think, yeah, but I'm shy and it's not for me and I'm not so confident and it's easy for you because you talk so easily, what are those? Thoughts. Those are thoughts that you put into yourself. If you think, I can't do that, of course you can't, because your thoughts create your reality. I think I'm a failure, I feel like a failure, I act like a failure. It's easy. Your thoughts create your reality. Your life is a mirror of your thoughts. So change those thoughts. Instead of I can't, say, yeah, I will. I can talk to people. Do you think I don't put in effort into networking? I have to put in the effort and take the first step to talk to somebody. I have to ask questions to people. So for me too, it's the same effort as for you. Put in the energy, put in the effort, network, and broaden your life and achieve your desires, because networking brings you steps and steps further in your life. So, you enjoyed this video? Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I want you to tell me, what do you like about networking? And if you don't like networking, what don't you like about networking? Tell me and comment right below this video. I want to know from you. And I'll see you in my next video. And now, I'm off to my next speech. See ya!
Hello everybody and welcome back to another video by Dissociated. So this video is going to be very exciting. I thought that it would be a fun idea if I could get as many people as I could in the DID community and the OSDD community to get together and join in on a big mass collab. A little while ago I realised it's been 6 months since I started this channel. And I realised that since I uploaded my first video, I hadn't watched it since. So I went back and had a little look.
There's so many opportunities now with the internet and so many different social media platforms. I have a voice that maybe not as many people have. I want to make a difference with it. I have dissociative identity disorder.
The internet and social media has given me and a lot of other people a platform to be able to talk about mental health in the same way we do with our debunking DID videos. We allow easy access to educational resources. We can break it down in a way that's easy for people to understand, easy to reach, easy to find in one place. That got me thinking, and I was wondering how everyone else's experiences of finding out about different mental health issues, coming to terms with their own mental health problems and looking for help, and how the internet and social media has affected that. I might do another video along these same lines, looking at the negative relationship between mental health and social media, but for now I just wanted to focus on the ways that social media and different social media platforms like YouTube and Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr has helped people to come to terms either with their own disorders or with other people's disorders, or finding out about disorders they didn't know about before. So thank you so much to everybody who collaborated on this little project with me. I think that it's really important that we get as many different viewpoints from as many different kinds of people as possible. I will leave everybody's links down below in the description, so I really must encourage you to check them all out. On to the little collab, I guess. I hope you guys enjoy. Bye!
Hi, this is Dante from the channel Acrylic and Ether. Although there's a lot of debate on social media being a good source of information, we've found that it was very helpful in our mental health journey. When you're doing research in the classic way of Googling it, most of the times you come up with studies that are focusing on the aspects of the mental illness topic you're not even researching. And it's written by those professionals who keep it in that formal and distant tone. And this can be pretty hard to digest, especially if you do best with casual tones. But on the other hand, with social media, people with mental illnesses can really share their experiences without holding back. When we're looking for information on something like, say, borderline personality disorder, which is a topic we don't have a lot of experience on, we can just go to a social media platform like Facebook, Tumblr, something like that, and really learn about what living with this disorder is like. And another thing that social media is helpful with is the terminology that goes hand in hand with some of these disorders. Like, we never would have found the vocabulary that's connected to dissociative identity disorder if the Labyrinth system hadn't posted those nice little pictures, the ones that contain like the words and concise little definitions saying what they are. So we feel like social media really helps to create an environment where people don't have to hold back about their experiences, and it can be really a nice place where people can learn. Thanks for watching.
Hey, it's Nan from the channel Jeremy, an alternate perspective. Social media, let me think. When I first started seeking help for the symptoms I was experiencing, like losing time and having people report that other people were using my body, I was met with a lot of folks who didn't really know what to think. I also met a lot of folks who just didn't have the time to think about it and were very dismissive. I also met a lot of people who just did not know what was going on, and I felt very, very alone. I'm sure that that's very common. Being part of a social community, I don't feel so alone. I absolutely know that Jeremy feels very similar. I know that one of the reasons why he started his YouTube channel was not only to spread awareness and help other systems, but it was to meet other systems, and we're very, very lucky to have met some really awesome systems. When it comes to social media, there's no one who really understands what it feels like to have DID than somebody who has DID or OSDD. That amount of understanding, that amount of camaraderie doesn't really come in a professional setting. I am not saying don't go to therapy, because I'm going to be in therapy the rest of my life, and I have gotten a lot out of therapy. Don't not seek a professional. I see professionals and I find them very, very helpful, but nothing beats the camaraderie and the support and the friendship I've found on social media for folks with DID. I know that Jeremy's YouTube channel has really helped us in a lot of ways to feel not so alone. On top of that, Jeremy's YouTube channel has also improved the communication among the people in my system It's been a really good thing. I think that DID is slowly but surely getting more awareness. And that's great. Everybody's DID looks different. DID is very under-researched, and so not a lot of stuff is known about it yet. And so the power of the camaraderie that I've personally found on social media and my system has found on social media, that's indispensable. That's invaluable. I think that about does it for my take on social media and the DID community. I think that it's amazing. I think that finding support among folks with life experience, with similarities, with empathy, just like that is so key. And it's great. I think that's it. Anyway, thanks, Chloe. Thanks, Dissociated System. Bye.
Me escucharán hablar a mí porque soy yo el que ha enfrentado más negación respecto al trastorno. Fue nuestra primera exposición al trastorno como una realidad y no como una figura fílmica. Las redes sociales nos ayudaron a descubrir y encontrar ejemplos de síntomas y experiencias para ayudarnos a saber si este era nuestro caso. Como protector principal, quiero proteger al sistema, pero como individuo, quiero expresarme como yo mismo. Por muchos años, la anfitriona no era capaz de expresarse en su arte, en su trabajo, incluso en sus palabras. El psiquiatra nos dijo que se estaba bloqueando a sí misma para prevenir un ataque psicótico, pero también nos dimos cuenta que nos estaba bloqueando a nosotros, de ser más evidentes. Pero cuando habló de nosotros en redes sociales, algo cambió. Empezó a encontrar su voz. Hemos asistido a terapia desde los 6, 11 años y siempre ha sido muy difícil sentirse validado, incluso por un profesional. Nunca tuvimos un lugar al que acudir para hablar de nosotros, ni siquiera en terapia. Hablar de nosotros, de lo que hacía Alexia, de cuando yo me cansaba. Nuestro propósito principal en la vida, publicar nuestro libro. Un libro que ha estado escribiendo la anfitriona desde los 15 años. Después de hablar con personas que estaban interesadas y personas que también quieren escribir sus historias, Rachel estuvo más motivada para perder el miedo o enfrentarlo. Las redes sociales han sido críticas en nuestro proceso de sanación y de asimilación. Las redes sociales nos ayudaron a saber que no estamos solos, no estamos locos, estamos bien. A mí me enseñó que está bien ser yo, está bien estar vivo, está bien ser real y en especial está bien que la gente me vea, que la gente sepa que hay alguien más que Antef está escuchando, que no es solo un hombre y que puede responder también. Y está bien que la gente lo sepa. Antef out.
Hi, my name is Asriel. Back in 2015, I was diagnosed with anxiety and stress-induced psychosis. A month ago, I have self-diagnosed myself with dissociative identity disorder. However, I am looking for a psychiatrist to diagnose me and confirm it. Now, when it comes to social media, I would have to say that it has greatly influenced and helped me when it comes to mental illnesses. I have to say, social media also makes it so much easier to find people that are going through the same thing that you're going through. I highly suggest that you join some Facebook group. I'll recommend Alternation. Alternation has helped me tenfold. Like I said, I self-diagnosed myself a month ago. To be honest, I've never heard of dissociative identity disorder until a month ago. It's funny how I came across it. I had a video in my suggestion box on YouTube called Living with Dissociative Identity Disorder, and I seen it and I was like, what is DID? I'm gonna check it out. Didn't think nothing of it, and I looked at that video and it changed me that night. I have never been able to relate to someone on that level ever in my life, which definitely influenced me to do a lot of research on this disorder. And that's exactly what I did. I stayed up until just about sunrise just doing research. I was noticing everything was lining up, just a bunch of stuff, and it just matched with me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never been able to come across a diagnosis and just have it just symptom by symptom, like that's me, that's me, that's me. It's no denying it. I have to say, social media, it's two sides of the game when it comes to influencing the masses. You have one side where, you know, they're the cuckoos, the crazies, they're meant to be afraid of, they're dangerous, and you know, just nasty, you know, indications. And then you have another side that's like, hey, you know, you're not crazy, you're not dangerous. And that's actually giving you, you know, healthy help and tips in order to cope. You know, I would definitely have to give a huge shout out to all the YouTubers, bloggers, everyone that's strong enough to stand in front of the camera and speak on their mental illnesses. This is honestly the first time I've ever stood in front of a camera and spoke on my mental illness. So shout out to you, Chloe, for making me do this, because I feel like I've needed to. Chloe has definitely inspired me to advocate for mental illness, because it's definitely a stigma that needs to be erased. Some people in the medical field believe it's not even real. Like, we're faking. I don't understand. Why would you want to fake something like this? Like, I've been like going through hell all of my life trying to figure out what's wrong with me. And for the first time in my life, I'm finally able to feel comfortable. Now that I have a better and deeper understanding of myself. If you believe that you have any mental illnesses, or if you've been diagnosed with mental illnesses, or if you self-diagnosed, you can definitely message me. I'll put all my social medias right here. I'm definitely an open book. I don't mind talking to people about mental illness. Thanks for listening to my piece. Bye.
Hi everyone, I'm Amelia from the Labyrinth System, and social media and the internet has helped me with my mental illness and understanding my mental illness, because it gave me a community of people to talk to when I was first diagnosed, which helped me tremendously in learning how to communicate with my system, and it helped me tremendously in learning how to deal with anxiety, depression, things like that. And it still helps me tremendously because there's so many resources online. When we were first diagnosed, we really didn't have much information, only what the doctors told us, and that didn't really give us information on how to communicate or how to deal with the things we were dealing with necessarily. So going online and going in the support groups that we went into, finding other communities to help us and give us coping strategies and give us coping skills, and teaching us to use system journals and things like that, really made a huge difference. And I think that it helped our communication get to where it is in a way that we wouldn't have been able to get to without that.
Hi, my name is Denny and I'm the host of the Lantern Sky System here on YouTube. Social media has played a huge part in the understanding of our DID and of our mental health disorders in general, like of our depression, of our anxiety, PTSD. It's played such a big role in the understanding of all of those things. And I think the biggest way that it's helped us is it's given us a support system. It's connected us to so many other people who go through similar experiences to what we do in our system. Offline, we don't have that kind of support system. We do have a support system, but we don't know anybody with DID or OSDD to be able to relate to offline. Online, we've met so many wonderful people. We've been able to connect with so many systems and just beautiful people in general. Through talking to them, through discussing our experiences, through listening to their experiences, we've been able to process our DID. We've been able to dissociate. Forgotten what I was talking about. We've been able to hear other people's stories on YouTube and on Tumblr and Twitter and Facebook and a whole bunch of other social media as well. And to be able to relate to others is so refreshing and so helpful. We wouldn't be able to have the same understanding that we do now if we hadn't have met those people. It influenced us to post YouTube videos, to reach out and connect and find those connections, and also educate other people who might be going through similar things that we're going through or just want to learn. Being able to watch YouTube videos from people with DID and OSCD has been an absolute life changer, and it definitely influenced us to post videos as well, to educate others and to hopefully help others the same way that they've helped us when it comes to understanding our DID and all of the other mental health disorders we have. I hope you have a lovely day, night, or wherever you are in the world. Take care. Bye.
A bit of a stigma in the mental health community of finding things out for yourself, about self-diagnosis and research, and I'm not really sure why. I can't really speak heavily from the mental health professionals in this community, as I have not yet received a paper diagnosis purely because of the cost of it in England, but I can speak of it because this is about mental health rather than just the idea. I can speak of it from a trans point of view, of going into a GIC and the people there wanting you to not know anything, or they expected you to not know anything, for them to be the experts, and they didn't like being told that you knew more than they did, which we did. I don't think they realised in this position that the internet exists. If the internet exists and there's years of wait times until you actually see a professional, then people are gonna do research. They're gonna look at what's wrong with them. It's the same with DID, schizophrenia, these other things. If you're hearing things, hallucinating, if you're losing time, and you can see that nobody else is experiencing these things, you're gonna look them up. Humans are inquisitive creatures, and we're not just gonna sit here and let these things happen to us and not know why. The internet is around us with masses of information. And even though, yes, people do use the internet, they do use social media, they do use Tumblr, and all of these things to gather information about DID and OSDD, and they use them to fake. Out of the 2 years I've been in this community, it's only been about 0.5% of all the people I've encountered have admitted that they were faking. So if the fear is that people are using the internet and social media to fake, that's not true at all. It's not true. People are using the internet to better themselves, to find out what's going wrong, to get information. So when they eventually go to a professional to get diagnosed, if they want to, they're better equipped. And a lot of therapists now they know that people have some idea of what's going wrong, so they ask someone when they walk in the room. It's not just from a blank slate. The internet helps people and social media helps people. It helps them connect to people that are going through the same things. It makes them feel less alone and less likely in some cases to commit suicide and self-harm and just generally feel less isolated. So, you know, if social media is something you're taking a jab at one of these people, and like anti-self-diagnosis is one of the things that you're against, fair enough, but for the majority of people, these things really help, and it's not your position to tell someone what should not be helping them.
Hi, it's Wynn from the Entropy System. Social media helped me a lot, especially when I was first coming to terms with my diagnosis. I think one of the biggest things for me that kind of brought me comfort was my therapist was surprised that so few members of my system were children, that I had a lot of teenage and adult alters and only a very small amount of child alters, because in her experience, systems were often mostly children with the patients that she'd had. And so that kind of put me in a place of self-doubt, like, is there something wrong with me? Like, why is my system so different? But thanks to Facebook groups that I had joined with other people who had DID, I was able to learn that systems are so diverse. Some of them have a lot of child parts, some of them have none. You know, you can have animals and dragons and babies. There's really not a set rule for how systems are built. It's unique to the system and to what they needed to get through their situation. So that made me feel a lot more comfortable with, I guess, the people who were living in my head. Also, it just really felt great just to scroll through on these Facebook groups and read experiences that other people were having, because for me, just reading that and saying, oh my God, I go through that too. I experienced that too. It was very validating. It made me feel way less alone because, you know, suddenly I wasn't the only person I knew who was experiencing these things and having these weird, you know, at the time I felt unexplainable situations happen. I think that Facebook and Tumblr are the only reason that I have met someone else who has DID. I mean, most of the people who have the diagnosis hide it. They don't want anyone to know. So even if there was someone very close to me in my life who had it, I wouldn't know because they didn't tell me. But on Tumblr, people naming their blogs after their system names, so I could just see that pop up and say, oh look, it's another person with DID or OSDD, or, you know, having these Facebook groups where people would come together, and even those who were trying to hide their diagnosis would open up because this is a safe place for them. That's not an opportunity I would have had. And with as just kind of bizarre as DID is, it has provided me a lot of comfort just being able to have that social togetherness with people like me. You know, I think everybody wants a tribe that they can belong to. That's why we have, you know, so many flags and symbols and, you know, colors that represent different groups. It's because we want people like us surrounding us. We want to feel a part of something bigger. And social media allowed me to be in that kind of environment. And, you know, I can't say one way or the other how it would have affected me if I hadn't had that kind of access, just because I have no frame of reference to compare it to. But I know that it was definitely a positive influence for me, and I'm very, very grateful that those groups and those blogs existed so that I could have that opportunity.
So I found that really interesting to hear how differently everybody's responded to social media, especially depending on where they are in the world, what kinds of social media platforms they use, what their social media experience is. not just in terms of platforms, but in terms of the kind of people they've interacted with, the people that they've followed. Since we organised this collab, we should put in our opinions as well. I don't have anybody around with me today. I'm not co-con or anything like that. This is just me, Chloe, and I'm going to share my experiences of how social media has helped me to come to terms with DID. Additionally to DID, we have, or I have, diagnoses of PTSD, anxiety, and depression. And the thing that made me realize that I had anxiety was actually reading things on the internet. I was so used to feeling the feelings of anxiety, the physical symptoms of anxiety, that I never really considered that there was anything abnormal about it until people were talking about their experiences of not having had anxiety before, and then it developing in a way that made them sit up and think, this isn't how I normally feel. And without things like that on the internet, I really don't think that I ever would have gone to a doctor and said, hey, these symptoms are something that's bothering me, because it bothered me, but there were so many other things that bothered me that I knew were actually issues. I don't know, it didn't even occur to me, you know, that things like that were something that not everybody experienced. I just thought it was a normal thing, which seemed to be a pattern with me, apparently. Everything I just thought was normal except for the depression. And I thought from my first experiences with depression, from what I first heard about depression, that depression was, you know, always feeling really, really sad and hating yourself and feeling down and, you know, feeling suicidal, things like that. What I didn't know that helped me realize when my depression first kicked in, before it got to the levels of suicidal ideation and things like that, was that apathy that can come with depression and not being able to feel anything, just this complete feeling of hopelessness. I remember feeling like I should be feeling frustrated, and feeling like I should be feeling frustrated about not feeling anything, but I couldn't even feel that. It was just nothing. And that was when I remember feeling that for the first time when I was around 8, and then when I was around 14, I realized that, hey, that's a symptom of depression too. And again, without things like Tumblr and Facebook and people being so open about their mental health experiences and the different types of ways mental health disorders can develop in different people, I would never have known. You hear about these things and doctors will tell you about these things and give you a little rundown of the kind of stuff that generally happens with certain disorders. And if it wasn't for social media and seeing someone behind a screen with that feeling of safety and anonymity, being comfortable enough to share their experiences with the world, I never would have been able to come to terms with the things that was happening to me. And I genuinely know that I don't think I would ever have accepted having DID if it wasn't for the Facebook community that I found, where I could ask questions and I could see all these things that made me think that I must be faking it and this can't be right because it doesn't fit with, you know, what I thought I knew about DID and what I thought that DID had to be, and I was making jumps and conclusions from that. And then seeing all these other people talking about the same things I was experiencing and everyone else validating them and saying, yeah, no, I've had that for years, that's normal. My therapist says that's a normal part of DID, it's okay, we're here for you, we understand. And never feeling judged when I wanted to ask something that, you know, maybe I was afraid that I was faking, which is something that comes with DID. It's meant to go under the radar. It's not meant to be known about because, you know, then you get all these horrible trauma memories that your mind is supposed to be keeping you safe from. So feeling like you're faking it is something that comes with DID generally. I was too scared to look for answers in the real world. And if I hadn't found those people, if I hadn't have been on social media, if I hadn't had that community to reach out to, who also reached back out to me and said, we're here for you and we understand and you're not alone and it's okay to feel the things you're feeling. We're not going to judge you and it doesn't make you any less valid. I genuinely think I would have gone crazy. That's what it felt like, going crazy. My experiences, and based on this collab, a lot of other people's experiences, of being able to deal with and accept their mental health would be a lot less successful and a lot more tragic if the internet didn't exist. Thank you so much for tuning into this collab. I hope that you enjoyed hearing about lots of other people's perspectives as well as ours, and let us know your experiences in the comments. If there's something that you've experienced that none of us have talked about or haven't experienced ourselves, please do let us know. We'd be really, really interested to hear your opinions and your experiences, and tell us what you think of this collab. Don't forget to go and check out everybody who joined in the description box below will be all their details and links to their channels and social media, so please do support the rest of our little DID family. And thank you so much to everybody who joined in. It was an honor and a pleasure to be able to make something with you. Don't forget to check out our social media so you know when we're going live and when we're uploading, which is generally every Sunday at 6 PM BST, British Summer Time. Check out our Patreon if you'd like to support us and access some really exciting rewards. We've also set up a PO box thanks to the amazing support of our patrons, so you can check that out in the description box below if you've made something for us or you want to contact us personally, and we'll be doing unboxing videos as well so that we can thank you all personally and you can see our reactions to the things that you've made if you would like to, I don't know, have a more personal interaction with us, I guess. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, and I really hope that you enjoyed this. I guess we'll see you all in the next video, guys. Lots of love, everybody. Bye.
You are now sitting there thinking, oh my God, we're at the bottom of a very big mountain here. This is from a teacher in China reflecting on the lockdown. We are just finishing our 7th week of e-learning, 7 weeks of being mainly housebound, 7 weeks of uncertainty. We're healthy, we're happy, we are humbled. As we watch the rest of the world begin their time inside, here are some of my reflections on the last 7 weeks. Accept that you have no control over the situation. Let go of any thoughts of trying to plan too much for the next month or two. Things change so fast. Don't be angry and annoyed at the system. Anxiety goes down. You make the best of the situation, whatever that might be for you. Accept that this is what it is and things will get easier. Try not to listen to, read or watch too much media. It will drive you crazy. There is a thing as too much. The sense of community I have felt during this time is incredible. I could choose who I wanted to spend my energy on, who I wanted to call, message and connect with, and found the quality of my relationships has improved. Appreciate this enforced downtime. When do you ever have time like this? I'll miss it when we go back to the fast-paced speed of the real world. Time goes fast. There are box sets I still haven't watched. You learn to appreciate the little things, sunshine through the window, flowers blossoming. To those beginning this journey, you will get through it. Listen to what you are told. Follow the rules. Look out for each other. There is light at the end of the tunnel.
I love that. It's so true, isn't it?
So, so true.
So true.
We all need to be able to look back for the rest of our lives and think, in this really difficult time, we did our bit and we did the right thing.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thank you.